It is new product time.
Okay, we're going to put the
Ding, ding,
Pi 2 in the new products.
Yeah,
Okay.
so this is what we're going to do. We're going to zip through these and talk about all the new things with Pi 2. First up, this is a new product not on our site. This is so weird. Hackaday has a version of our Perma-Proto. We're calling it the Perma-Proto Black Hat. It's the Adafruit Perma-Proto hat, but it's a special edition from Hackaday. We're doing some cool stuff with them. So if you're interested in a Perma-Proto, but you like the Hackaday logo, you like the Hackaday site, you want to do something on like hackaday.io.
You like build black PCBs?
Yeah.
Something.
All right. We had the Othermill in briefly.
Yes.
It sold out instantly. This is from our friends, Other Machine Co.
Yeah.
It is a little portable mill.
Thank you for holding it. This is the new version. So this is the post-Kickstarter version, and it's a little CNC mill, and you can see there's a high-speed motor and a little mill drill bit, and then here's the bed, and this is a nice new one that we grabbed. It comes with these little tools, and it's nice and closed, and it's got these magnets, and it works basically, you can even load in like basically EagleCAD files directly onto the software that runs in a Mac, and it's like a 3D CNC mill, and it can also do like brass and bronze and copper and aluminum and other metals if you want. But I use it as a circuit board mill, and it can you can use 1/100th of an inch mills with it. Although we don't usually need that small, we use like 1/32 usually or 1/64th, and you can basically make single-sided or double-sided PCBs at home using this, and especially if you have a lab or a school or a business where you are making a lot of prototype PCBs, instead of waiting like a week or even rush maybe 2 or 3 days, you can now have a PCB in under an hour. So we use it all the time. We use it almost every single day here at Adafruit. It's one of our most beloved tools. We sold out very fast, but we'll have more very soon. So please sign up, and we'll get you another mill.
Okay. Updated today.
This is the new Raspbian SD card. I just want to bump it so people, so I could remind people that we now have Raspbian 2015, Raspbian 2015 January 31st, which is the release that just came out a couple days ago. And so this Raspbian image is compatible with the Pi 2, as well as backwards compatible with all other Pis that have come before. So anytime you are buying a Pi 2 or a Pi or whatever, and you want a pre-imaged Raspbian SD card, this one's for you. We'll be updating the Noobs SD card shortly.
Okay. Next up, and these are just some of the new packs.
Mm-hmm. We've also updated our packs, and we just like make it more clear. Like this pack, which is like a budget pack, we just updated it to clarify that it is now compatible with the Pi 2 as well, because it comes with the new Raspbian SD card that just got released. So all these are just the same.
So if you go to adafruit.com/new, you'll see some of our Pi packs, and we update them with the right words. So people are like, this is Pi 1, this is Pi 2, this is Model B, Model B+.
So these packs are compatible.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, go back one.
I know.
Sorry. These packs are compatible with the Model, the Pi 1 Model B+, as well as the Pi 2 Model B. Anything with the 4 USB jacks, not compatible with the previous Model B, the Raspberry Pi 1 Model B, which has 2 USB jacks. But we have separate packs for those. I think going forward, people are going to want to use the Pi 2 and the B+ the most.
Okay. If you want to build a game girl,
yep. Hold on.
We've got a pack for you.
Yep, this is a popular request. We have all the parts in the store, but some people are like, well, I just want like one pack that makes it like really easy to pick up. This is a pack for the PiGRRL, which is the portable game Pi, and I'm booting it right now. I'll show it off in a little bit. But it lets you play emulated games with the Nintendo or MAME, and we did this part a while ago when there was only the Pi Model B. We'll be redoing it for the Pi 2 soon, because that'll be great. You'll be able to like play games like, I think what was some games that Golden Axe didn't play at 100%, and also some other like later MAME games. I can't remember off the top of my head, but they didn't work. So we're gonna, and then audio will work better and everything, because emulation is gonna be much better on the Pi 2. So if you would like to play, for example, Gauntlet on a little Pi, and you have access to a 3D printer, if you 3D print the case, you can use the rest of the parts in this pack to build your own Gauntlet playing game.
Okay.
Yay, I like this. I played Zelda on this. It was really great.
Okay. Next up, a couple new cases.
This is the Andes case. They're compatible with the Pi 2 as well as the Raspberry Pi 1 Model B+. Again, if it has the 4 USB ports, it'll be compatible. We just got these in, and we tested it with the Pi 2, and it works. We tested it with the B Plus, works. They're really beautiful anodized aluminum cases. They're machined, and they have a clear plastic top for this one, or the black one, which has a smoky top. You can still see the LEDs, but it's darker if you go to the next one. So you have silver clear and black anodized smoke. They're both very beautiful. And they also come with a USB USB cable and little bumpers, and you can like wall mount them. I just think they're like really cool cases. Like there's a lot of Pi cases, but these ones are really good.
Okay. Next up, this is a new kit in celebration of the nationwide event, Superb Owl.
Yes, this is a Superb Owl. And this Superb Owl is actually a kit. This is just the assembled one that's actually covered in gloss. It comes as parts. And what's neat about this is it actually does not have a battery. Instead, it has these micro solar cells. So this is a batteryless kit, and you can kind of see it flashing away, these little Superb Owl LEDs. And you can recharge it over USB or solar, so you can hold it up to the sun for a few minutes, and it will recharge the little supercapacitor, or a little battery. I don't know if it's a supercapacitor battery. And then, or you can use USB to charge the battery as well. So it's kind of a neat kit because it's like you can cover it and coat it, and you never have to worry about like replacing the battery because it uses solar power. It can also run off of solar.
Yep. And next up, very exciting. This is a Mythbuster recommendation. Adam Savage says, this is the book you need.
This is such a cool
So it's Pocket Ref,
Yep.
and this is kind of like a Pocket Wikipedia for makers, I guess I'd
This
say.
is like everything. Do you want to go to the overhead and I'll like flip through it?
Yeah, sure, let's do that.
Hold on. Okay, I'm just going to show that. No, it's like playing Gauntlet. Yeah, playing Gauntlet.
Can you turn off the lights?
Yeah, that's weird. Okay. Oh, didn't need it before. Okay, this is the Pocket Ref, and it's a little book, and it's just full of all these like guides and diagrams and tables and like constants and electrical and like different grades of bolt heads and military ranks, so you don't get embarrassed when you go to a picnic. How to calculate areas of shapes, interest rates, knots, steels, metals, screw sizes, how to perform CPR on a dog, signs of the zodiac. I mean, this is kind of like everything you'd ever need to know. I mean, like you basically want to know if it's in there. It's probably in there. This is like really, really handy. And weather map symbols. Like wow, you don't even know what's in here. And it's cool because you can like, first off, this is kind of fun to read. Like I don't know if people read books anymore, but I actually find this kind of fun to flip through because you're like, hey, like what? Like I want to know about glue solvents, paints, and findings, and they tell you all about the different types of glue. So check it out. Makes it for a great gift. Keep it handy. Keep it in your, on your work table, and you will refer to it.
Real quick, we got these cool and warm LEDs in a 10-pack. We have a good example of each in action. So this is warm, and this is cool.
Yeah, you can see that one has like a whiter, cool white reflection, and then the warm one has more of a like a candlelight or incandescent reflection. So here it is, and it's really bright. So sorry, this is the warm white. So you can see it's a little like yellowish light, and these are NeoPixel compatible. So they have the 4 pins for the NeoPixels, and you can use it with any NeoPixel library or code. So if you can use it with a Raspberry Pi using the Pi DMA code, or an Arduino, of course, or a Spark Core, or like pretty much any processor, that almost everything has NeoPixel libraries now. Just one thing to watch for, we also have them in DotStar, which are the 6-pin SPI, and these are NeoPixel 1-wire. And these have a little bit more of like a flickery effect, which doesn't really come through on the video. But the refresh rate's a little slower. So if you want to have very smooth dithering, you might want to check out the DotStars. But for a lot of people who already have NeoPixel compatible code, drop these in. You can also use our EagleCAD item, and you can have cool white or warm white LEDs, and they have a very beautiful glow, much better than what you would get by trying to mix RGB. So that's why we offer them. Very interesting stuff.
All right, next up, we got this handy dandy USB.
It's handy. I don't know what else to say. It's a micro
switch.
USB cable. It's like 5 feet long. It has a switch in it. It's not for data. It's for power. And these came to us from the same place that make the Andy's case for the Raspberry Pi. It's good as a Raspberry Pi power switch. Don't forget, you have to still have shut down your Pi properly, but then you can turn it on and off with this. Also good for like turning on and off charging stuff or anything that's powered over micro USB. Maybe you have a project. Just remember, it doesn't do data. It's power only, even though it looks like it's a power and data cable. So don't be confused where you're like, how come the data side isn't working? Trade-offs.
Okay. And then I guess some big news in the world of Arduino. It just happens to be part of our new product talk this week. We have the Pro Mini.
Pro Minis!
So we have the two versions that everyone knows. We have the
This is the 3-volt one. You can't tell on the back. You can tell,
Yeah,
but they look the same from the top, really, pretty much. And this is a 3-volt, and the other one was 5-volt.
Yeah.
And these are the Pro Minis, and this is a SparkFun product that's an official Arduino, and it's been very, very popular and highly requested. And we were finally able to get these in the store. I'm so happy because I've been trying to get these for a couple years, and we have them. Yay! Thank you. So I can show these on the overhead, maybe. The overhead's really light today. Hold on, let me zoom in.
Yeah.
Zoom in. Hold on. Zoom. That's all the zooming I can do?
I can talk to you about it later.
Okay.
But it's...
Okay, no, this is great. Perfect. Okay.
There's a reason.
There's always a reason.
Yeah.
So these have an Atmega 328 in the middle, and they have a reset button and a power regulator. Hold on. Okay, hold on. Yeah, it's going to focus. Yeah. Nice. It's got the Atmega 328, a reset switch, and a regulator and power circuitry, and then use an FTDI cable or FTDI friend or other FTDI compatible thingy to program it, and it works with the Arduino IDE, and it's like an official Arduino, so you just pull down and you select Pro Mini, 3-volt or 5-volt, and you're ready to go. And so these are just very small, low cost, and very skinny. They're very thin. Arduino compatible, so very good if you have a project you build an Arduino with an Arduino, and then you're like, hey, I want to put this in a box, or I want to make it a wearable or portable, and you don't want to have this big Arduino. Maybe then you can recycle your big Arduino from the project.
And the star of the show, besides you tonight, Lady Ada, it's now time to talk about the Pi 2 Model B. We're going to extend the show a little bit this week because this is a big deal. This is, I would say, a game changer as far as the low-cost Linux computer that's already has 3 million out there. Just when you didn't think it could get better, it did. And
wow. And this was unexpectedly fast. Like, I think that Evan...
Everything about it's fast.
Sort of, well, yes. Maybe that's what's so odd happened. It was so fast. It showed up 4 times faster than expected because it's 4 times as fast as a Raspberry Pi Model B+. So this is the new Pi 2, which was released on Monday. And it looks a lot like the Model B+. Sorry, it's the Pi 2 Model B, which looks a lot like the B+, because it's the 4 USB ports and the 40-pin connector. But this has a new processor. Instead of the BCM 8335, it now has, instead of the BCM 2835, it has the BCM 2836. And the BCM 6, whatever, now comes with an ARM 7 core. So it's a much more advanced ARM core. This core is actually very popular for portables, tablets, and other small computers. So there's going to be more software available that can take advantage of this processor. It's very, very fast. It has, faster processing capabilities. It also runs faster. Instead of the 700 megahertz that the B+ and the B and the A ran at, this one natively runs at 900 megahertz, and you can overclock it a little bit more to a gigahertz, but 900 megahertz is pretty damn fast already. And not only that, but it has 4 cores. Quad-core processing. So just like your computer probably is a dual or 8-core or whatever processing machine, it has multiple cores. Not all software is going to be able to take advantage of it to the point where it actually is 4 times as fast for that. But there is a lot of software that can. If you compile the software and you tell it there's 4 cores, try to adjust the software so that it can take advantage of it. You can gain another 4 times speed boost because you have 4 different processing units that can each do computation. And not only that, but they also extended the RAM from 512 megabytes from the B+ and the B to a whopping 1 gigabyte because the previous processor couldn't address more RAM. Actually, they was maxed out. They couldn't do more than a half a gig. But this new processor can do at least 1 gig. I'm assuming you can do 1 gig maximum, and that's what they went with. And that really makes a huge difference because it means you can run, for example, web browsing and software that wants to stick a lot of stuff in RAM and cache it for speed. So
it's
all
a computer.
Of these things,
it's a computer.
It's a computer. So all these things together, 1 gig of RAM, ARM 7 core processor, higher speed, and quad core, 4 upgrades in one. So it's a major upgrade. This is like a really big upgrade, and it does affect the processing quite a lot. We did some benchmark tests as well as just some everyday usage tests.
This is, by the way, that's the guide. So we have the most comprehensive benchmarking, I think, that's out there right now.
Yeah, and we're updating it too.
Yeah. So
All the time.
do check it out. One of the things too that was a big deal about this announcement is, and just to be clear, it's not going to be running Windows 10.
It's not like a desktop.
But yeah,
Windows 10.
but Windows, the embedded group, you'll be able to develop Internet of Things using the Windows 10 tools.
If you're a developer and you are comfortable with writing code for Windows 10, you can write an application and deploy it to the Pi. As far as we know, there's not going to be like a desktop start button, and you're not going to like be able to like run Internet Explorer, but you will be able to have the Windows 10 core run, which is actually a very powerful thing because there are hundreds of thousands of developers who want to develop stuff for Windows and maybe deploy it to a Raspberry Pi, which is a very, very low cost processor. It's also really nice because now it's not just like Intel, it's also ARM. Like there's more options. And who knows, like this may allow people to make standalone kiosks or tablets or other tools that use the Pi 2, and instead of having like a gigantic thing, it's maybe a lower power. Some things to watch out with the Pi 2 because it's just things I've noticed as I've been using it. One, you cannot use your previous SD card with the Pi 2 just by like hot swapping it from your B+. You need a new firmware image because there's a new core, a new processor, a new kernel to take advantage of the 4 cores and the ARM v7. So what you have to do is if you have an older Pi image and you really don't want to like mess with it because you have all the software installed and like whatever, put it in a Pi B+ and then run the sudo apt-get upgrade. It's in the tutorial also if you don't remember the exact command, and that will download new firmware and kernel updates for you. It's backwards compatible. It'll still run on your B+, whatever, but also run on the Pi 2. Another thing I've noticed, because we're just having a good time discovering all these things, I2C and SPI, if you use those because you're a hardware hacker and you're connecting sensors, you have to add an extra little thing into boot config for the device tree overlay.
They're not on default, so you have to edit a little text file, right?
Our previous tutorials and other previous tutorials which talked about loading in a kernel module are not enough. You also have to add this device tree overlay thingy, and I used the Raspberry config software, and I'm not sure if it worked. I'm not sure, but you can manually add it in very easily. We added it to our how to set I2C and SPI tutorial on the learning guide. Just watch out for that. If you're like, hey, my I2C sensor or hat or thingy used to work on a B+, it doesn't work on the Pi 2. It's because of that. There's also device tree overlay stuff, which is, we have a tutorial on device tree overlay. So if you're wondering what's upcoming in Pi technology, the new 3.18.5 kernel supports device tree overlays, and it looks like it's going to be used a lot, especially for hats, for the EEPROMs that are on the hats. So check out our device tree overlay guide that Justin Cooper wrote for the Beagle and Black. Still works, even though it's for Beagle and Black, it is very similar to what's going to be happening with the Pi. The Pi 2 also uses a little more power. You definitely need at least 1 amp to use like Wi-Fi and processing on the Pi 2. It uses like 100, 200 milliamp more depending, the quad core, faster, more of everything. You need to give it a little bit more power. So just be aware for portable projects. You may want to slow it down or maybe not use a Pi 2, use a Raspberry Pi B+. Software is backwards compatible. Apparently the ARM7 processor can run ARM6 code emulated out of the box. So most software, you will be able to sort of run it and it'll still work. But be aware that you will not be able to take advantage of the speed upgrades that are in the ARM7. So any software that you're using, if you're like, like the Pi 2 is not that fast. Like I'm running this code and it's like, it's gonna a little bit faster, but not crazy faster. Probably just needs to be recompiled. So if you're able to do that, I would suggest recompiling it. And if you're not, ask the person who's doing it. Also, a lot of stuff for the Pi 2, like the RPi GPIO libraries and other Python libraries and like, et cetera, are, like the Pi TFT, it's not quite ready. Like, we didn't get these until like you guys did pretty much. So we're, we're scrambling to make it work with the Pi 2, but just be aware, like, especially if you're watching this live and it's only been 3 days since like the Pi was, or 2 days since the Pi 2 was released. Stuff may not work to start. You might have to be a little patient and wait a couple days to have all the different parts of the ecosystem catch up to the Pi 2.
Okay. What's the thing you like most about the Pi 2 Model B?
The Pi 2 is, well, it is like damn fast. I mean, like compiling code on it is really, really nice now. Like I had to get to compile these emulators, and normally it would be like an hour, and it was instead like 10, 15 minutes because compiling code gets to use all the processors. So it was a really big relief because I was like, oh, I'm really in it for like 4 hours, but it was actually quite fast. It boots up very fast as well. It boots up in 20 seconds instead of like 45, so it's much faster in that regards. And when you use a web browser, like the web browser feels like a web browser. You feel like you're using a computer. And I never thought that the Raspberry Pi was a toy, but I think a lot of people saw it that way. Like, oh, it's a toy computer. It's like a tchotchke computer, but it's not. It's actually it is actually comparable to like a netbook. It is usable as a working computer, so it's very good for people who do want to use it as a computer or do any kind of processing on it. Not fast enough to turn into a Bitcoin miner yet, but so I don't recommend that.
I don't know if people are doing that so much anymore.
I don't know if people are doing that
anymore. The coins were gotten.
Okay. Well,
well, we're gonna
Dogcoin.
Okay. Well, that's it for new products this week. Thank you, and big week for Raspberry Pi.